Sorry guys, it's kind of a funny first view of my third blog. The second blog kind of disappeared because had some camera problems. The camera we're using is not terribly reliable. It cuts out sometimes, and I thought I had a full thing, and I transferred the file, and well, it didn't work. Let's just put it that way. And so this is weeks after my first blog. I kind of got busy with work stuff, and I'm sorry about that, but from now on I'm going to be doing more and more of these, and so I hope you guys stay tuned, check in. My wife did not like the special effects I put on the first one, so I'll just not mess with those really. I'm just going to give it to you raw, and that sounded a little bit wrong. I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not going to edit these. I'm just going to tape them, put them up there, see how you like them. Yep. This blog talks about health, and talks about well, I'm talking about my journey, but it talks about health, and it talks about the keto diet. It talks about fasting, and I gotta warn you, this might have a section in there. I'll warn you when it happens. This blog might have a little TMI, too much information, when I'm talking about my results from the recent activities, my fast that I went on to get this fitness thing going. So let's talk about, first of all, I went through 2 weeks of keto. In my blog that got disappeared, I actually showed you my blood sugar, and I had gotten a combo keto and ketone and blood sugar glucose monitor. So it has 2 different strips. I found out that ketone monitors are not that uncommon, but the strips are very expensive. Like the cheapest one, the one I'm buying, is $1 a strip. Like one test strip into the machine, $1. Bye-bye. And I'm told actually that's, the normal is about $2 to $3. So if you're going to test your ketones, you can do it, but it's kind of expensive. And some people think it's not really much of a point, because you can kind of tell how your body feels if you're actually eating or if it's using your body fat or not. So I don't know about that, but I'm comforted by the fact that I can actually take measurements. I like to see a number. That number is important to me. And of course, as a diabetic, my glucose number is very, very important. But in Japan, they don't do it for type 2 diabetics. They don't give you a monitor, which is why I had to order my monitor from the US. And it took me a while to actually find a company that would ship here. And then when I started taking my blood sugar, found out, well, it was about 250. Now, for those of you who don't know, 100 on a regular day, anytime you take it, is considered kind of normal. After maybe a little bit below 100, like 90 or 80 is kind of okay. Right after you've eaten something, like a couple hours after the meal, your blood sugar should peak, and then it drifts off as your insulin tells the cells of your body, especially your muscle tissue and your liver, to take those sugar molecules floating around around your blood and store it into the cell. And so that's the normal rhythm, sugar rhythm, if you will. It's an up down, 2 hours it peaks and then it goes down. And that peak might be like 140, 130, maybe. If you have like fasting glucose around 160, 170, you're considered pre-diabetic. Maybe you're not diabetic, but you're getting that way. And over anything over that, basically you're diabetic. That's the diagnosis. Like if you're having 180, 190, 200, something like that, blood sugar, it means your blood sugar is out of control and you're a diabetic. 250 is kind of bad. Like over 600 and you're probably in a diabetic coma. And anywhere over 200, you're kind of asking for all those problems you hear about when you're talking about diabetes, like your feet getting chopped off and nerve damage and organ damage, especially the kidneys, eye damage, hearing loss, vision loss, hearing loss, swelling of the feet, swelling of different veins, hardening of the arteries, all the great stuff about diabetes. So I knew I had diabetes, but I thought it was kind of under control. I thought I could do it with just food, but I guess I party too much. I go out and I like to eat, and I eat a lot of food, and I put myself on these diets to try to lose weight or one goal or another. The keto diet, I put myself on the keto diet in order to combat my insulin resistance, which is is the reason my blood sugar is going out of whack. And so I've done the keto diet. This is week 3, but I'm going to first talk about the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks on the keto diet did drop my blood sugar. It went from consistent readings of over 200 to consistent readings of under 200, like 180, 190, kind of in the pre-diabetic range, but occasionally it would spike to 200 here and there. And I looked online, and that's not the results I wanted. That's not enough. I think my blood sugar should be probably closer to a normal person's blood sugar. Non-diabetic's blood sugar after 2 weeks of not eating any carbs at all. So it's a big disappointment. So I decided to try to get my blood sugar down even faster by going on a long fast. The longest water fast I've ever been on. First of all, I gotta put a little section in here. People, when they hear me say water fast, they think I'm not taking water. That's not what a water fast means. Fasts, if you read the forums on people fasting, they generally have their own nomenclature about fasting. A water fast is what it means is water only fast. But usually it's not a water only fast. It usually has some vitamins thrown in there and maybe some sort of supplements to replace electrolytes. Because if you don't do those two things, you can't safely fast for a long period of time. And so yeah, that's kind of what I did. Is I decided to go on a long fast. I thought I could go 10 days and do a 10-day water fast. I didn't really prepare for it. Just one day I decided to stop eating. And that's against a lot of the advice of the forums as well. A lot of people, they sort of work their way into a long-term fast. Like 1 week of actually restriction. Like 1 week they don't eat meat for 1 week. And that reduces your calories significantly, and then they back off on the fats, and then when they get up to the fast, it's just they stop eating the vegetables, which is the only thing that's left. So it's a gradual work up to a long fast. I didn't do any of that. I was just eating normal keto diet, which is lots and lots of fat, and then I just stopped. And I went 2 days on water only. And it was an interesting experience. It's the longest fast I did. I ended up doing it for 5 days. And the idea of fasting is it controls your hormones in a weird way. It produces hormones that prevent your body from eating its own muscle tissue for energy. It produces various hormones that help you process stored energy, so your fat. Your body will actually go around looking for leftover proteins that aren't doing anything. Like, especially there's these proteins in the brain that have been linked to all sorts of cognitive issues. And so when you go on a fast, even for a few days, your body goes around and says, hey, look, there's a protein there. I'll eat that because it needs energy. So it looks for all those proteins and those leftover sugars and that sort of thing, and it eats those first, and it usually burns through its sugar stores in 2 days. Your sugar stores, you store somewhere between 70 and 110 grams of carbohydrates in your liver, and then you store several hundred grams of carbohydrates in your muscles. And so it depends on how many muscles you have, right? How much muscle you have, excuse me, how many muscles, sorry. Everybody has the same number of muscles. No, how much muscle you have. So a big muscly person has a lot of sugar stores all around their muscles and their muscles. So it takes a little bit longer for a big muscly person on a fast to burn through all that sugar because they have so much sugar to eat. So first day, second day, maybe third day, you're eating all your sugars. There's a spike in consumption of protein around the third day, and we think it's basically the body finding all those little non-structural, non-skeletal muscle proteins. They're hanging around your brain or hanging around your heart tissue, that sort of thing. And from day 3.5 or something like that onward, it's fat. It's just burning pure fat, body fat, all those stores on your body, your white tissue, your white adipose tissue, and your brown adipose tissue. They start churning out, it's called triglycerides. And somewhere around the day 3, if you're testing your ketones should spike. And that's what happened for me. I never got on my ketone level during the keto diet. Never really got more than about 1 or 1 point something. That's dietary ketosis. That means I'm in a state of ketosis. I'm burning fat. But it's not the optimal level that ketogenic keto diet aficionados often recommend. They recommend something like 1.5 to even 3 is kind of okay. But on the fast, my by the third day, my ketones had jumped to about 3. I've read a lot of forums where people say they got numbers like 7 on the third day of ketosis, or of a fast. And that's really surprising that I didn't get that. But everybody's body's different, so it's not that big of a deal. But the big deal is, in 5 days of fasting, I had a high sugar day the first day, the day I decided to start the fast. It was around 220. And it only went down to 130. that's bad. Like my blood sugar stayed high until about the third day. It stayed in that 200 category. That's very weird. And the only explanation I can find for it is that I've had severe uh, insulin resistance for a long time, and it'll take me a long time to correct it. Um, and that's what it's going to have to be. And the reason I stopped the fast was not because it was too hard. It's that my body was reacting badly. I was feeling sick. I was to the point of throwing up. I was to the point where I couldn't really function very well. I couldn't think. And here's the TMI section. I started to get a yellow tinge around my eyes and my face in general. And that's jaundice, which is usually referring to, or sorry, caused by a liver problem. Like your liver shuts down, you get jaundice. And so that was really scary because there's like something wrong with my liver. It turns out I might have something, memo for me. I might have something where my red blood cells, when they break down, your body breaks them down and it produces this stuff called burlamine, which no, that's probably not the right word. It starts with a B. Anyway, it's a protein. It's a yellowy protein, and if your body can't handle it, it builds up in your bloodstream and gives you a jaundice look. But maybe it's not a big deal. But it looked like it, and it scared me enough that I decided to start eating enough. I started eating again. My fifth day was really, 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 really bad, emotionally and physically. Just the motivations are down. My attitude is bad. Asked my wife; she was very upset at me because I was grumpy. And again, I got some of the, but again, I got some of the lowest blood sugar tests with about 130, and that's a pretty good improvement from 200. But I kind of keep going, probably just keep on going with the keto diet for a while and see if that can get my blood sugar under control. And wow, it was a lot of my friends kind of looked at me like I was crazy when I said fasting. Like I said, oh, I'm going to do a 5-day fast or 10-day fast, and they literally immediately started trying to talk me out of it, which is not particularly good for your motivation either. But their motivation was that they were concerned for me, so I understand that, And the 5 days, yeah. 5 days, during that 5 days, I didn't take any salt in, and that's probably a mistake. So if I do another fast, which I do plan to do one, probably the week leading up to the fast, I'll probably do kind of a severe calorie restriction of sorts. Maybe like only 600 calories a day, no meat, no dairy, no fat. It'd be just kind of salads. Well, maybe not no fat, but basically just salads and like wholesome foods, and get ready for like light food. Get ready for the fast. So prepping beforehand. And then when I go on the fast, it's kind of chic nowadays to take a bone broth. And there's a bunch of recipes online, like bones from 5 different animals and fish, and you boil them up, and then you strain off the bones, and you drink the bone broth, or you buy a bone broth packet and mix it with hot water. And the point of that, of course, is it has a little bit of fat, which is alright, but that's not really the point. The real point is it's a little bit of fat, which helps you process vitamins. It has a few vitamins and minerals. It has very little or no calories. Maybe one serving is like 20 calories or something. So it doesn't break your fast. Clinical fast. A clinical fast means that your body is eating its own energy stores, and you need about 50 calories to kick your body out of that. So bone broth would not do that. There's not enough calories in it, but it has some vitamins and minerals, and it has a lot of salt, and so it replaces your electrolytes, replaces a little potassium, and helps you keep on going on a long-term fast for health reasons. We're not doing it for spiritual reasons. I'm just trying to get healthy. So I'm going to be keeping on the keto. I'm going to talk about a few of my recipes next vlog, and I'm going to give you a play-by-play on the blood sugar over the next week. So that's it for this time. Thank you very much. Sorry for the roughness. I'll get better at it as I go along, I'm sure. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and tell your friends, and we'll tell me about your stories, and we'll get to fit together. All right, see ya.